Good evening. I'm Dr. Greenbrier Almond, and thank you for joining us on our program, Tender Loving Care. Each week, actually, for 35 years, I've been doing this program, and I always am amazed that there's a new reason to have a local access programming like this. And this week, I'm really excited that Sharon Sabo has joined us and are going to talk about a celebration of driving and something happening great at the high school. So thank you very much, Sharon, for coming on.
It is my pleasure, Greenbrier.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
you and I go way back. We won't go
certainly
way back. But I remember fondly what we used to call the game farm,
Yes,
and now it's the West Virginia Wildlife Center.
exactly.
And your dad and mom and your brother and sisters ran the show.
Oh, we certainly did. That was the best childhood anyone could ever have. I just am so blessed that God gave me that opportunity to grow up at the game farm. It was such fun. I had, an African lion in my garage. I had a baby bear that we raised from a day old that stayed in our house for the first 3 months of his life, and he was actually my little brother.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
he was my
Wow.
little brother because I happened to be the youngest of 5. So,
Okay.
yeah, so he was my little brother. and-
Some people have teddy bears, and you have bears.
yeah, and one of my other favorite pets was a baby skunk that my dad brought home.
Really?
Once.
Without
and
the scent, descented. Yeah.
No,
No?
actually, Stink Pop was never descended because I was getting ready to head off to college, and I didn't want her it turned out to be descended. So I knew that since I was going off to college, that I wanted to let her go, and
Okay.
so we did at
Oh,
the end
okay.
of the summer.
But when she was around you, I mean, she was tame enough. She didn't perfume you then.
every once in a while, if you caught her off guard, she almost did.
Wow.
But
Okay.
but fortunately, she was young enough that she couldn't accomplish very much
Uh-huh.
while we had her there. But it was
Wow.
quite a good experience.
So
too.
what a wonderful childhood.
Oh, definitely.
Great. And now I understand just from talking to you, and I had lost track of your family, but your mother is still living here in Buchanan.
Yes, she is.
Wow.
Yes, she's 89 years old now.
Wonderful.
She doesn't get around as well as she used to, but
Uh-huh.
she's still got her right
Yeah.
mind. So
Yeah,
that's,
well, that's
a blessing.
great. That's great. You all were great 4-H'ers. I think that's how I first knew you, through 4-H camp, and
Oh, yes.
I
yes.
think probably Susie, maybe Jeannie were, I think, Cherokees.
So was I.
You were Cherokee. Well, I'm in Delaware, so we'll get
had
past
forgotten
that.
part. Yeah, so yes.
But that was a great experience here in Upshur County growing up.
Oh, yes. Upshur County has been such a wonderful place to live, and, Buchanan. When I was in my teen years, I actually worked in Buchanan, and I just can't believe how much prettier it is now. It's
We're the city
they've
of
taken away all
flowers,
of
aren't
the
we?
yes,
That-
city of flowers.
Yeah.
We've taken away all of that overhead, poles for everything, the power poles and everything. And it just looks wonderful
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
So yes,
It's great.
and a lot of positive people here in Buchanan, and I just feel so blessed that I had the opportunity to come back and
Yeah.
work in my hometown.
Right.
So-
And you have made a real contribution through State Farm to our community. In fact, this is all about what you're going to be doing the 15th, just coming up, September the 15th, is
Yes.
Celebrate My Drive.
Yes. Well, State Farm has researched, done a lot of research in the last 10 years about teen drivers, and unfortunately the number one cause of deaths in America, the U.S., are for teens is auto accidents. And so they're looking...
We grieve. I mean, I grieve and you grieve. I'm sure the families that have lost teens just in the last half dozen years. I mean, it's
Yes.
too many, way too many.
Unfortunately, and I've known some of those young, beautiful ladies very well, and it's sad. It is very sad.
But you're going to do something about it. I mean, State Farm is, and you too.
Yes, they have researched, and they realize that teens work better if you give them positive reinforcement versus giving them the negative reinforcement of, showing them the bad crashes. So Saturday, Kelly Tyranny and I are teaming
Okay.
up. And from 3 to 5, you want to be out to Jawbone Park and be with us because we're going to do a Celebrate My Drive promotion. And if you want to know more about that, you just go to celebratemydrive.com and you can find out. But there's exciting things happening. Locally, we decided to do a karaoke contest for teens age 15 to 18. And there can be up to 4 singers in a group. And
Okay. They pick their own song.
they pick their own songs.
Wow. Okay.
And so it'll be a neat time.
Uh-huh.
And
This reminds me of Jim Knorr's dream. And Jim has been mayor, has directed our choir at Buchanan Upshur High School for years and years, now retired, but still very much involved in the community. But he always wanted to have talent shows downtown in a park, maybe every week. Maybe the prize would be Dairy Queen or something like that, but kids would come and perform with each other, cheer each other on, and enjoy talent, building talent. And this is a step in that direction.
yeah, and Kelly and I, the first prize is a $200 gift card and everything. So teens, you want to get out there
Wow.
and give it a try.
Pretty good for a Saturday afternoon.
Yes, and I'm hoping for another beautiful day like today. And the whole purpose of it is just to make the community of Buchanan aware and teens aware of how important driving is to them and the sense of accomplishment they can have, but also make them aware, that they need to be responsible when they're driving. So we're looking forward to our Saturday event, and then
And someone will win. I mean, this is a
someone will
sure
win
thing.
first, second, and third prize.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so-
Okay. Great.
And this is actually happening across the nation. They do have major cities selected, but Kelly and I got together and decided to do this in Buchanan, have our own little celebration. So
Well, we're the center of West Virginia.
That's right.
This is the perfect place
So-
to have a celebration.
yes, you just can't believe, just beat the community of Buchanan. I love living in an area where we just have a small town, and the people just pull together. They pull together in bad times and in good times, and it's just a great place.
Well,
to be.
I always have heard this, and I say it many times. We're a city and a community that works well together. I mean, so in so many
Exactly.
ways. You mentioned the flowers and how beautiful they are. Every year we outdo ourselves with flowers, and now more people have gardens. And
Yeah,
it just whatever it is, we grab hold of it and enjoy it.
It's so beautiful. I was
Yeah.
downtown last night and ate dinner, and I was showing my husband. I said, "Oh, look, they use the same flowers that we do, at our house and everything." And I thought, but theirs look a little bit better than ours do. So, we need a little gardener around every now and then. So,
Well, now your husband and you and the Turners sing in a group, Elation Quartet.
Yes.
And I truly believe this. If you sing to plants, they do better.
oh, well then.
So and you're a singing group, but you can expect your plants to grow if you sing more.
In fact, our church, French Creek United Methodist Church, we actually have committed to every second Monday going to Serenity Care. So we
okay.
sing there every second
Right.
Monday evening at 6:30, and then on the fourth Monday evening we go to Holbrook Nursing Home, and I just really enjoy singing and praising the Lord in song.
Right.
I really do.
Keeping our theme of community spirit, but the Woody family started Serenity Care a number of years ago, I think
Yes.
for their mother in particular.
Right.
And of course, Avis Hawkins, wasn't that her name? Holbrook.
Yes.
Started that in her home, and it has turned into a marvelous business and a real asset to our community. But those are homegrown places that we can be proud of for our elderly, and and to know that you all are singing there, that makes me feel good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing.
Right.
It's amazing. And they really sing with us.
Mhm.
We we have a bunch of songs that we sing with them, and
Yeah.
they just really look forward to it. And it's just such a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a one time over at the VA, because I've had a whole career at the VA, but we had some older soldiers who were demented, and so but anyway, this one wife would come every day to visit her husband. And she loved him very much, and the whole hospital loved this man. He used to have a florist shop in Clarksburg, and he would bring flowers and to every nursing station, every secretary's desk,
Wow.
from time to time, just spontaneously. And of course now there he is. He's demented, and he's a different man, and it's sad. But one of our physician's assistants said, "I wonder if he would know some of the old songs." And she played the piano. So she went over and started playing these old songs, and lo and behold, he knew them. And
Wow.
he and his wife danced and sang. Oh, it was the most wonderful afternoon possible,
Oh, wow.
Just coming out of just spontaneously going to visit someone
Yes.
who's old and changed. I mean, we want to live until we die, but it's
Right.
hard to know.
Yeah.
Well, now there's more to this Celebrate Drive, though. There's a new car. Now, what is that about? A Chevy Sonic?
Yes.
I mean,
first of all-
teenagers, listen up.
Yeah, listen up. Or parents and
Parents.
grandparents tell
Sure.
your teenagers, age 15 to 18, that they want to be there, number one, on Saturday. But you can also go online, and this is very important too.
And we have an online site there, www.celebratedrive.com. So
Yes.
go there,
Yeah.
right?
Go there, because one thing we were doing is that every day this week, if you go in and put your name and your email address and your date of birth, I know, but your birth date, then you go to the second page and you can vote for Buchanan Upshur High School to win $100,000.
Wow.
So you want to get in there and get involved, and even anybody can do that. It has an email address, and the key here is go in tonight, go in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and do that, because we're
Four
hoping.
votes. Four
yeah,
votes.
yeah.
Okay.
We're in any email address you have. You can go in. I voted twice both days because I have two email addresses.
Okay, well, that's fair. I mean, this is, and then we're competing with other towns, other high schools,
Yes.
and the winning school gets $100,000.
The winning school gets $100,000, which would, be quite a gift.
Wow, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I'm sure that many things the student council could think about this, or the administration at the high school could think of a lot of things to improve the school.
Yeah. Across the nation, State Farm, which, by the way, is the #1 property casualty insurer in West Virginia and the United States.
Okay.
They are giving out $1.4 million worth of scholarships and grants in all of this.
So 100,000 here, 100,000 there,
Yes,
but
yes.
1,400,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I've been very pleased, and I mean, this is a commercial I'm saying, but my dad started us off on State Farm, and I've been very pleased over the years with the service. And
Thank you.
yeah, I could say that, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that you're still #1. I know there's competition in every field, and that's the American way. But this is, I think, an excellent way for an American company to give back to the community, too.
Yeah, when I started with State Farm, it was almost 25 years ago, and of course our main slogan was, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is that we are there a lot, and things like this, they will do things like this, don't always get it out as locally. In fact, in West Virginia, I only know of 2 locations that are celebrating my drive tomorrow, Buchanan and the Parkersburg area. So
hats off to you and Tierney,
Kelly.
Kelly Tierney, particularly working together on this project. That reminds me, like a good neighbor, and I want to put a plug in. This is a plug night, but I have a new book, Stories of a West Virginia Doctor's Son. Kept the title going because Dad wrote a book, after mother passed away, he said, "I practiced medicine. I've enjoyed my life. It's time to write my memoirs."
Yes.
And he wrote some 55 stories of his medical practice, and they have been well received throughout the state. In fact, they outsell every other book by a West Virginia author at places like the Tamarack and all over the state.
Growing up at the game farm, I must
Okay.
interrupt here a minute. I remember his dad. You know, he would go anywhere in the country to visit someone sick, and I can remember his little Willie going by our house there several times.
Oh yeah.
He was always on the road.
I was after I wrote. Dad wrote his stories, 55 stories. Then I realized after his death that there were more stories. So I wrote 77 stories in a second book,
Wow.
which has also done very well. In fact, one of those stories involves a trip in a snowstorm past the game farm. And after I wrote that, I got a call from a man up at Gaines, and he said, "I was on the state road that night, and the story was about plowing ahead with the snowplow. So Dad and Charlie Beer and Old Friendly and myself could all go up the road to Selbyville to see a sick child."
Wow.
And they said, this man wrote back and said this was the high moment of my career, that we could save a child's life. You know, and I could drive the snowplow. We had to plow our way up to Selbyville and plow our way back. The snow was blowing so much.
Wow.
And but anyway, right past the game farm. And but Dad, the second book has done very well. But this is the stories of a West Virginia doctor's son, from the standpoint of growing up. Some lessons that Dad and Mom taught us, including 4-H things that we learned. We have a lot in common in 4-H. Let me just give you one example, and then we're going to talk about Celebrate Driving again. But I gave a talk, and we had this demonstration and demonstration contest in 4-H at that time. And so I gave a local talk, and then I went on to region. And but one of the stories I told was about Upshur Mountain, and one of the places that we said were the 7 natural wonders of Upshur County was the highest point in the county, which is actually where you lived at the game farm. You were close to Get Out.
Yeah.
And that's the lowest point in the county, the Little Canoa River flowing there. And then up the road at Palace Valley, up to Alexander and up, is the tallest point, Upshur Mountain. So not too far apart. So you live in rugged country in the county.
That's right.
But anyway, we picked Upshur Mountain, Dad and Mom and I, to put in our 4-H talk. And so, but we always wanted to go out and do things, visit someplace else as we were kids. But Dad had been in World War II, and he said, "I've seen the world." And any of y'all who have older parents know that was a very hard war.
Yes,
and
my
of course
father was also.
Yeah.
He was in the Navy.
Right, and they just wanted to stay home and raise their family after that was over, right? And the Great Depression. And
Very true. He loved West Virginia, though, and he was born in Greenbrier County, so we went down there a lot. But
but not to New York City or not to Paris, France, or
not when you have 5 children.
right. There are a lot of reasons not to go. So, but anyway, Dad and Mom and we decided we would go up and label with signpost at Upshur Mountain how far it is to various places in the world. And this is one of the remote places of the county, like 15 miles from nowhere, Upshur Mountain, the highest peak. But anyway, it's 3,800 miles to London. We had a sign.
Wow.
6,706 miles to Tokyo. 9,607 miles to Sydney, Australia, 5,263 miles to Buenos Aires, 3,971 miles to Paris, 8,515 miles to Manila, the Philippines. And just in case someone was coming by and lost their way.
I'm sure you had a directional sign.
Oh, yeah, directional signs. I'd get my little compass out, my little Boy Scout compass, and measure that. I think your brother Fred and I were in Boy Scouts together too, and as well as the 4-H, I'm sure. But I always had a compass and measure north, south, east, west. So we had it exactly right. But this book is filled with stories like that, of things that my parents taught me, taught our family about growing up, and had a lot of fun doing.
Oh, yes.
And so, but you want the best for Upshur County kids now, and
Yes.
and so there's the $100,000 to the school if they
Right.
get all those names. Vote every day, right?
Yes.
Okay, and just go to that website. That will take us to the site where you can vote.
Yes.
Okay, and it's legitimate. You're not stuffing the ballot.
No. No, you're not at all.
not like politics
In fact,
in
they say
West
right on the page that you can vote again. They say, that you can vote daily. So,
Okay.
So that's
So
great.
what's the old slogan in West Virginia politics? Vote early and often, but every
Yeah.
day at least, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then what about the car? How do kids win that? I mean, this is a Chevy Sonic.
Yes, and they just need to go to it. Like I say, if they go to the site, they can read the rules about that. And I'm pretty sure they have to be aged 15 to 18. And the reason 15 is we have found that the first year of a driver is when there are the most accidents. And of course, we now allow 15-year-olds to
Yeah.
drive with an adult starting at 15. So that's the reason the age 15 start
Okay.
through 18. So
They can't have a passenger, but they can get their license and ride with an adult, right?
Right,
I mean, that's the
right.
way the law's set up.
yes.
So, but if they follow the rules, there's a chance or something, there'll be a drawing or something?
It is a drawing. Yes,
Uh-huh.
they're going to have a drawing for, and they're giving out more than one of those cars.
Okay.
But our area, there would be one
One.
given away.
Okay, so you have a real good chance. I mean,
Yes.
someone listening to this, not only do you get a chance to see the school get 100,000, but
that would be awesome. I'm
yeah.
looking forward to that.
can you pick your color of Chevy Sonic?
Now that I can't answer.
If you pick
That
red,
might be out there on the site though. Yeah.
if you pick red, I've heard policemen tell me that they'll look at you closer. But
Yeah.
you can pick blue or green or something else, right?
Yes, but I've
Okay.
always wanted a red car, and I finally have one myself.
I saw
so,
that when we drove over to the studio. Yeah, I
so-
said, "Wow, here."
State Farm, red, why not, right? So, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, tell me, you said 25 years of service here with State Farm.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that goes so fast.
It did go fast,
yeah.
trust me.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you, when you like being a good neighbor? What are some other things that you've recalled in your year of service where you know that you've made a difference in the quality of life, say, of Upshur County?
Yes. Well, one thing as an agent, I feel like I'm kind of a teacher, and what we do in my office is try to fit people to things they need, and there have been times that, where this was a teenager's accident, and the parents were just so happy that I had talked to them about increasing their insurance coverages so that you can never replace a child. You cannot do that. But at least the families got some additional money that if they would have had the state limits, they would have never gotten. And so to me, that is so important in my job and in my team. I'm so blessed, again, with such a wonderful team that I have working in my office. And, our job is really to just match you up with your needs, and we try so hard. And where else could I use? I mean, I don't have that kind of money, in my back pocket to give people in the event that they need it. But also, even in the event of an unexpected death,
Right.
I just feel better knowing that I've talked to them about that in the past.
Well, here's
and
an example
taking care of that.
where I think, and it turned out well for our children, but when our children were born, education was important. It was on my mind. These kids have got to be educated, and Lord willing, I'll live to see that. And I
Right.
have. So it's been a blessing. But we went to State Farm, and I think it was to Brent Phillips,
Right.
who
That
married
was there.
Susie, your sister,
Right.
and preceded you as an agent here.
Yes.
So anyway, we bought a policy, and I think we figured out how much it would cost to go to school at those rates. We didn't figure out the 500% increase.
Yeah. Fortunately, now we have a lot more products.
Okay.
And so we can take care of the college education in another format, but I know
Okay.
what you're talking about.
Well, we tried to do it in the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
And if something happened to us, then that policy would be paid off, I mean, to the
Yes.
parent, and the children would get their education. And but if we lived, then they still had a life insurance policy,
Right.
and it helped them get their first house.
And you can't buy it any cheaper than
No.
when they're young.
No, absolutely.
And if something happens to their health later on, it's very important that you have that first policy with
Right.
what we call a guaranteed insurability option on it, and that really helps them.
Right.
And I just want to be sure everybody,
we have a few
cover
minutes
all my bases here.
we had Sharon come on knowing that she would do a great job, and she has, but we want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm not the best at this, but I just want to be sure I hit everything. It is across the country one of the biggest one-day gathering of new teen drivers ever.
Wow.
And we want to encourage them to cherish the excitement of the road, but be aware of the responsibility of driving.
Okay, and they can come down to the karaoke contest, 3 to 5.
Yes.
Jawbone Park.
Yes.
This
And
Saturday.
It'll be a fun day, and just come down, and I'll have my iPad there. You can sign, if you haven't already signed up, you can come into either Kelly or my office, and you can do the emails. You
Register
can sign
ahead.
up, register ahead.
Start practicing your song.
Yes, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Are you going to sing?
I'm not singing. It's
But you
for
have
15 to 18-year-olds.
Oh, okay.
Guess maybe I could
You
talk the
always
quartet
be
into
always be 15.
So, yeah.
No, that would be great. And State Farm, you mentioned this. This is not because it's an ad, but they're interested in the cars and autos, and farm tractors and whatever else we may
Yes.
have. Right, all sorts of vehicles nowadays. People talk of motorcycles.
Yes, yes. we do
4x4s
that
or whatever
do
all
that.
these things. All these things are possible to be covered. But this is we need to celebrate safety because
Exactly.
there have been too many accidents, and I think it's a great idea.
Yes, and like I say, the research has shown that taking a more positive attitude and everything, rather than trying to scare them to death.
Right.
I mean, I remember giving the high school, really bad DVDs about what can happen, and so it's just.
Right.
It's
we
great that
listened to
we're
those
taking
in
a
health
more
class, so we would
positive
scream and yell,
Yeah,
but didn't change our driving, I don't
Yeah.
think.
So in doing the study, they realized that a more positive approach is needed, and this is just one big step in the right direction for State Farm.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, once again, I would just say thank you to Sharon for coming on. Thank you for being a trainer and helping us all have a wonderful wildlife center
Yes.
up there at French Creek.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great way to grow up, and
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was just awesome.
if you haven't been up this season, go soon. I mean, there's still a lot of time. Even I think in the fall and winter, you can walk there free. I think you can.
Yes, you can.
You can get in.
I don't know when that starts though, but
Anyway,
it's a nice walk, and they have a young elk right now, and they have a young buffalo this year, and it's just
Yeah.
a wonderful place to even just take a walk.
great.
So
And so until the next time, this is Dr. Greenbrier Almond thanking you for joining us on our program, Tender Loving Care. Special thanks to Channel 3 for this opportunity to come your way each week. So stay tuned next week for more topics of tender loving care. Good night.